AITA for telling my cousin she is committing a sin. I will try to keep this straight to the point, but I 18F can answer any questions you have. A year and a half ago, my cousin 17F and aunt 50 plus immigrated from Saudi Arabia. They have been living with my family and I in Canada ever since. It has been a real struggle for everyone to adjust, because they are way more religious than me. They see themselves as more superior. I cannot read or write Arabic properly, so they say oh poor OP, losing her faith and culture because she was born here, or they comment on the fact that I cannot read the Quran in the original language. Everything I do, they comment on. I watch a show, listen to music, dye my hair, wear skinny jeans, or anything remotely fun in front of them, and they give their opinion. Darling, this is haram. Sweetie, doing this is actually not permitted. OP, you cannot do this unless you want to go to heck. My parents have told me to keep the peace and that they will soon get their own place. Since the whole lockdown, my cousin has taken up a new hobby, painting. She is actually really talented and I am surprised she has never painted before. I was watching anime in our shared room when she told me to turn it off. She said she cannot concentrate listening to something haram while she painted. I told her that she is also committing a sin by painting a girl. In Islam, drawing, painting any living thing is a sin. This led to a whole fight and our parents got involved. Basically, they are telling me to apologize because her painting is not harming anybody. My cousin has stopped talking to me because my aunt made her stop painting. This caused problems between my parents and aunt because they are telling my aunt it is fine if she paints. Now there is tension in our house and my parents are kind of pissed at me. AITA for causing this fight. I admit I lost my temper, but after a year and a half of this, I could not take it anymore. Also, my cousin was really good at painting and it was a way for her to get creative. I feel really bad now that she is not allowed. AITA, not some Muslims getting triggered by this post laughing my butt off. Do not send me hate. I am a crybaby. Thanks all for your advice comments. I really appreciate it. I will have a talk with my parents tomorrow. Hopefully it goes well. NTA, if she is going to have a running commentary about how you are living, she better expect to be held to that same standard. I would tell your family that you will agree not to comment on what they do so long as they can keep their opinions to themselves. If she is going to have a running commentary about how you are living, she better expect to be held to that same standard. Your parents though, you told them it was an issue. They did not deal with it, and then when this happened they did the whole surprised Pikachu face thing. You are NTA if you can't take SHT, don't talk SHT. I agree with all of your points. They committed the harm they cared so much about. The punishment is absolutely justified. NTA, you watching anime, dyeing your hair etc. was not harming anyone either, but your aunt and cousin still found a reason to comment on it and shame you for it. I am very much of the opinion live and let live as long as you are not endangering anyone else. But your aunt and cousin still found a reason to comment on it. I am not even sure what the parents expect OP to be able to change. It seems like the aunt has already put a stop to the cousin painting, and even the parents speaking up for the cousin did not do anything. OP cannot unsay it, and the aunt would not change her mind even if they could. NTA, they can call you out, but you cannot say anything to them. Music, clothing, and hair colors are ways people get creative too, and they had an issue with way you do so. Sorry for it, you should not have to apologize. NTA, there's a way you speak to people, especially when you're staying at their house. Your cousin and Andy are disrespectful. If she is gonna point out all your sins, then why can't you do the same? Hers is arguably a bigger one if that's what we redoing here. Muslim myself. Info, can you talk with one of your parents, whoever is more understanding of your modern life, about how wearing it is to be constantly criticized and how it feels like they are always watching and judging you? Make a deal with them that you will apologize sincerely if they will talk with your guests and tell them to knock off the criticism, that they, your parents, are the ones raising you and will be the judge of your behavior. Assuming your parents have not had any issues with your clothing or hobbies, then you can find something to truly apologize for, like maybe sincerely apologize for snapping at your cousin, that you felt under attack constantly from their comments and you acted impulsively, that you are sorry for your less than ideal communication, and that you are sorry that your cousin is no longer allowed to paint. That you only wanted to show her how it felt to be criticized for doing something she enjoyed? Tell them that you admire your cousin's skill and hope that she continues to practice freely, just as you enjoy practicing your hobbies without constraint as well. It is really difficult having additional people in the house for so long, especially when it is family and the boundaries are blurry. I hope things get better soon. Laughing my butt off. And if they are so into this religion, they at least should be able to follow the rules of the religion, especially if they make fun of you for not knowing everything about Islam. And I could never imagine living in someone else's home and telling them what is okay and not okay to do based on my religious beliefs. FCK that, they got a taste of their own medicine. As far as apologies go, if your parents want you to apologize, tell them you will apologize to her if she and her parents won't ever try to tell you how to live your life. It sucks for her that her parents aren't allowing her to do what she wants, but that isn't your fault. That's the parents' fault for being crazy. Fun fact: there are rules as to how a guest should behave and how a host should behave in Islam, and it's quite apparent that OPS and has not read about how to treat their hosts. And I've studied Islam in uni, and from what I understand, the form of Islam practiced in Saudi Arabia is Wahhabism, one of the strictest forms of Islam and one that has not practiced by the vast majority of Muslims. Would she go up to a Malaysian Muslim and complain about their colorful hijabs, or a Shia or Sufi Muslim and complain about their practices? Going to go up to a convert on the street and complain about her being white? Because seriously, if so, she is going to have a long, stressful, and boring life. And it will be never-ending. I mean, there have been wars fought over which sect of the same religion is the right one, and some people hate others of same faith because the way they practice it is wrong in their opinion. So yes, I think it is safe to say there are people who go around complaining to others about what they do, and I would not be surprised if someone like Op's cousin did that. It is boring and stressful, but that is just how some people want to live their lives, and they usually do it because they want to feel smug and superior. And you held their hypocrisy up to their faces, and their position on what is not haram collapsed. Now they are forced to bend the rules just this once to accommodate your cousin's painting hobby. If they can bend rules just this once, then they no longer have a moral leg to stand on and can no longer be superior to you. Buckle up, things may become more intense at home. Stick to your guns, because what you are showing your aunt cousin is that you may have lost your culture by being raised outside Saudi, but you still know the core rules of your faith. By your one simple action, you kinda checkmated them, and I love it. And people like them do not tend to like getting a taste of their own medicine. If they are preaching this way of life to you, they have no right to then break that way for themselves. They are simply hypocrites. I am so sorry that I did to you precisely what you did to me ever since you moved into my home. I know how annoying that can be. Now, so do you, is technically an apology. And she is free to start painting secretly. Today I learned she is 18 anytime she likes. Once she admits other things that are forbidden are no more evil than painting. The fact that she was not hurting anyone is not the problem. It is that it is forbidden according to their standards. People who follow unnecessary standards do not deserve to be kept in ignorance about what they are to make it easier on them. Plus, I do not get why she would not be allowed to paint non-living things. And if your cousin will sit down with you, I would tell her that your comment was no different than the jab she has been making at you for a year. That how she felt from the comment is how you feel every time she has said something. And also that it sucks that her mom made her stop painting, because you think her art is wonderful. And they have been incredibly rude to you, but they cannot handle having their hypocrisy called out. You did not do anything wrong. And if painting is okay because it does not harm anyone, you wearing skinny jeans does not harm anyone either. By the way, I had no idea that it was a sin to paint draw a living thing in Islam. That is interesting, because it actually is not a sin. This must be some kind of interpretation of Saudi Arabia Wahhabism, which by the way is rather strict. Aniconism in Islam is not part of all interpretations of Islam. Art is allowed in Islam in pretty much all forms. The only thing that is not allowed is the worship of depictions, called idolism. In the same idea, if you treat your painting, sculpture, whatever as being your creation that you breathed life into, aka seeing yourself as God and creator, is also an O number. There was also a ban of depictions of our last prophets, since some people worship the depiction and not Allah, and Muslims kinda extended that to all prophets that exist in Islam. Fun fact, a version of Jesus is actually one of the Islamic prophets without the being son of God part, obviously, which means that any figure that is canonically important in Islam is kinda agreed upon to not be depicted because the likelihood of idolism was high. Little side note, the fundamental concept of Islam is that there are things which are forbidden haram, and those things are clearly mentioned in Islamic text. Quran is 100 legit and credible. Hadith has varying credibility. All authentic text should usually be ignored, and things that are allowed or praised which are also clearly mentioned. All other activities are forgiven, aka allowed, because they have no significance. Art, by the way, is only mentioned in the context I described in the text above. Unless you pray to Usonic fan art or something of sorts, there should not be an issue with art and Islam. Anta. You put up with it for a whole year and a half. Cousin has now learned you do not throw stones in glass houses. Do not apologize. Maybe they will move out faster this way. Nta, damn right you called her out for her hypocrisy. Do not let them get to you. They can take their righteous sense of purpose and shove it laughing my butt off. Nta, they are using their religion as a cudgel to bludgeon you. Pointing out their hypocrisy is fine, since the no painting living creatures is a pretty well-known rule. I am Christian and I know that is a big thing in Islam. She can still paint, she just has to follow her own rules or admit she had a hypocrite. Nta, you did not cause the fight. They are guests in your home and they should respect you, and your parents should be defending you. Ever heard the phrase, you live by the sword, you die by the sword? If they are that obsessed with following every part of their religion, then this should be a sacrifice they are happy to make, and Nta, I would totally have done the same. Nta, without going into much detail in my own background, religion can often feel like a game of choose what hypocrisy level you are comfortable with. In this case, though, she dished out the harem, and then could not take similar criticism. Nta, so let us get this straight. She, one, stuck her nose in your business repeatedly, going so far as to tell you what you can and cannot do in your own home after your family essentially took her in. 2, freaked out when you simply pointed out the hypocrisy of her actions. You never told her she could not paint or that you were going to rat her out, just that by her own logic she was committing a sin. 3, caused a fight over all of this to the point that it spread through the house, alerting both your parents and her mother. 4, essentially told on herself to her mother, resulting in her no longer being able to paint. 5, blamed you for all of it. I would be livid. I would also be having a serious conversation with my parents about the lessons they are teaching you, both by asking you to apologize, back down, keep the peace. They are essentially teaching you that personal accountability does not matter and one should simply let others walk all over you and treat you badly in your own home to keep the peace. That is a dangerous thing to teach your child. Meanwhile, your cousin and aunt are being taught that they can behave however they wish if the threat of a tantrum looms. This is how bullies are created. I feel for your cousin. Truly, she is in a rough spot and adjusting has to be tough. However, her behavior toward you is malicious and unacceptable. Clearly it is a learned behavior. I am guessing from her mother. I seriously wish you luck. I do not see a way to resolve this without some serious mess. AITA, for causing this fight. I admit I lost my temper, but after a year and a half of this, I could not take it anymore. You are fully justified by the fact they made the door wide open by judging you. They are said of BC, you have beaten them with their own weapons. Nta. P.S. In my religion there is a quote, do not judge, and you will not be judged. I think this rule is quite universal and suitable. I will fully admit that at the title I was ready to say YTA, but dang, you gave them a taste of their own medicine. Boo freaking who that they did not like it. Nta. NTA religious nutjobs are always terrible people and they are always surprised at their own hypocrisy. If they possessed enough critical thinking to understand their own hypocrisy, they did be too smart to be religious nutjobs in the first place. I think it is pretty rude to call all religious people nutjobs just because there was one in this post. From the religious people I have met in real life, they are no more likely to be good bad people, compared to a non-religious people. NTA, you can apologize by saying I am sorry you committed a sin, hope you do not go to heck for it. The hypocrisy of religious people, all they want is to control others, not to be told what they cannot do. Go deeper OP, call out every sin, such as women cannot tell me what to do. NTA, year and a half. You have endured a year and a half of this. Makes one comment back at her because you are done and you have to apologize. FCK no. Dude definitely NTA. I am a fellow Muslim and honestly everyone has their own range of harm and hole. People need to stop judging others because they sin differently. The thing in Islam is that God will judge you and only you for your actions. FCK people trying to control how you live. If I were you I'd just tell her that Allah will judge me on my own grave and thanks for her input, but I am aware of my own doing. Good luck and sorry for the BS you're going through. NTA, and I absolutely hate the I know you are right, but they are the guests so deal with the torture quietly cause you are our child and the guests are more important to us to save face and you should be lucky we are nice to you cause we made you attitude. You're Canadian and live in Canada, it's a free country. Do whatever the heck you want. NTA of course, she just tasted her own medicine. Her painting is not harming anybody, nor does listening to music or dyeing your hair, but it is kinda a waste of talent just because her religion told her that she cannot do that. Do me a favor and remind them whose house they're freeloading in, then tell your parents that they re disgusting for allowing them to act so superior and treat you so badly just because family. You are their family as well, so why are they letting you suffer? In fact, you should be their priority and not his crackpot relatives. NTA. NTA, I am going straight to the point OP, your aunt and mom both need to realize that they now live in Canada and not Saudi. It is one thing to consider tradition, but for the younger generation who still leaves the house and have to mingle with the rest of the real world, their minds need to be open to the Western culture, because that is what is out that door, a few feet away. If your aunt, family does not acknowledge that soon, can you imagine if a day comes where your aunt or cousin get lost out there in the middle of a city and cannot contact family? Will they start having a conniption in the middle of traffic? Do they know to call 911 for emergencies? They are not in Saudi Arabia. Good luck, mate. NTA, if she is going to comment on other people being sinful, then she better follow all the rules, otherwise she is a hypocrite. Plus she brought it on herself. Do not dish what you cannot take.